Hello and welcome to part 2 of the invitation. These two glasses of water may look just the same, but they're quite different. One is half full, and yes, the other is half empty. From the outside, we can't see the difference. It's only from within that there is a difference. So I wonder how you see the world, whether you are an optimist or a pessimist. The world around you isn't changed by the way you view it, but it can certainly feel very different. Last week, I explored the invitation to listen to ourselves, to attend to the inner motions of our lives, because the kingdom of God is within us. Today, I want to think about the way we relate outwardly to those around us, to explore our different personalities. If I'm asked to choose between these glasses of water, which one will I choose? I can have either, but, well, I'm right-handed. I know my left hand is perfectly able. I'll pick this one. Just as we all have physical habits like that, we also have mental habits. I can't tell you why I'm right-handed, but I know that I am. Likewise, we can't always explain why it is that we're optimists or pessimists. It's just a kind of habit, part nature, part nurture. There it is. There are many mental habits that we have that shape the way that we see the world and the way that we respond to it. Some people have been driven half mad by these last few months because extroverts need people around them. Meanwhile, the introverts among us have enjoyed the opportunity to escape from people a little bit more, to have some more of their own time. Some people are naturally inquisitive and open to new things. Others among us are more cautious. Some people are very, very sensitive and others naturally more resilient. Some people are right-handed, some people are left-handed. We all have habits of the way we relate to the world. There are those among you who will remember the days when it was normal to try and literally beat left-handedness out of people, wraps to the knuckles and hands tied behind the back. I do fear that the way Christianity was understood by many, and actually I think I would say misunderstood by many, might have been responsible for that. Somehow there was an image of Christianity developed whereby we should all be a certain way, meek and mild, deferential to authority, white, straight and right-handed. Get in line, fit in, behave. That's not any kind of true religion. When I read the stories of the people that Jesus met in the New Testament, I see all sorts of characters with a variety of personalities. There's Peter, the impetuous one, always the first to leap in with both feet. There's Martha, working busily in the background, and then Mary, her sister, listening attentively. There's Zacchaeus, the tax collector, the collaborator, hiding up in the tree behind everybody where they can't see him. There's James and John, the freedom fighters. There are downtrodden beggars, there are self-important lawyers. Some are right-handed, some are left-handed. Some are extroverts, some introverts, timid folk, bullies. Jesus doesn't call any of them to fit in, to follow the rules. When Jesus encounters all these different people, and when he invites some of them to follow him, he treats each one very differently. But you can see in all these examples a curious feature. So impetuous, erratic Peter, for example, he's called to be the rock. Busy Martha is called to pause and to be still. Zacchaeus to come down from the tree, from out of the shadows to become the host. Collaborators and freedom fighters, they're invited to sit together, to live together, and to share something of who they are. All these people were invited to experience life in a different way. If you like, to use their other hand a little bit too. Jesus was always inviting people to a bigger version of their own lives. I might be right-handed, but how limited would my life be if I only ever used my right hand? And it's exactly the same with our personalities. It's one thing to know our natural inclinations, to be an optimist or a pessimist, for example, but if we become stuck in these habits of thought, it's as if we're losing a limb. Us quiet types can let ourselves be imprisoned in shyness. Those who are the life and the soul of the party can live in fear of what silence might reveal within them. We can become frozen versions of ourselves, forever reserved or always seeking the next new thing in life, oversensitive or unfeeling. Too often we'll hear people say, "That's just how I am." It's a very sad thing to hear, because it's kind of saying, I have stopped growing, I've stopped living. Tomorrow will be just the same as yesterday. That's just how I am. There is no faith in those words. Faith is forever alive to the possibility of meeting the sacred, alive to continuing life's journey. We cannot always on life's journey be in the same familiar place. Sometimes we're invited to a less comfortable place, to the front of the crowd, to be a rock, to use the other hand of our personalities. Spiritual writers have sometimes called this our shadow side, the less familiar side, the opposite of our habits and our defaults. It's the extrovert attending to their inner life. It's the control freak exploring the quiet follower within. It's the reserved creature of habit setting time aside to venture into something new. These shadow sides may never become our comfortable default, but without them, we're lesser people. Jesus encouraged many of those he met to explore their shadow sides, for true life-giving faith involves the whole person. So today's invitation to all of us is to be open to more of ourselves, to accept all of the water in our life vessels. To settle for less is to be only half of what God made us to be. Today's short devotion is simply to allow ourselves to rest in God's care, to be loved by him as we are. So take time to know your own preferences, your personality. Perhaps close your eyes and take a deep breath to begin. Be aware of your breath coming in and going out, the very pulse of life within you. And then take a moment to recall, to remember, to be aware of your preferences, of your personality, of how you live within the world and in the company you keep. And as you name each of these, take time to love them, to love those aspects of your personality, whether you're loud or quiet, whether you're outrageous or reserved, whether you're itching always for something new or returning always to the familiar. Love those parts of yourselves, but also be aware of the ways that sometimes they can hold you back. And in the stillness of this moment, listen for God's invitation to live a larger kind of life. And so we hold ourselves and one another to God. We ask him to enlarge the life and the joy within us, to expand our horizons and to draw us deeper into himself. And as we pray that for ourselves and for one another, we do that by sharing together in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. God bless you in the living of your life. Amen.